If there's one thing I truly do not enjoy, it's when I don't get enough sleep. I really don't enjoy feeling tired and sleepy. It feels terrible, and I think just about everybody will agree with that. If you're among the nearly half of all Americans who have trouble with sleep from time to time or frequently, you may be interested in how to help without the use of drugs. After all, hypnotic drugs, they could be a problem. They're the drugs that are prescribed for sleep. Some of them are chemically addictive. They're right behind narcotic pain relievers for the number of Americans who experience a dangerous overdose. So, welcome to our Natural Remedies for Sleep episode, where I will discuss natural alternatives to sleeping pills that really do work, are safe, and are not habit forming. My name's Jerry Hickey. I'm a pharmacist who also has studied nutrition, and I'm over here at Invite Health. I'm also the scientific director. And over my many years of practice, there's been time to time when I've needed a sleep aid. So I'll share with you my experiences, and I'll discuss sleep aids that really do work, that are safe, that can help. Please be sure to subscribe to the Invite Health podcast, and please leave us a review. You can also follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Invite Health. All of the information on today's episode will be linked in the episode description, and you can visit invitehealth.com/podcast for more information. So let's get going. Obviously, there are things that impede sleep that are just bad habits. Exercising too late in the evening, having some kind of stimulating beverage like coffee too late in the evening. I mean, that's obvious. But also blue light. I mean, if you're fooling around with your cell phone or on the computer right before bed, that's stimulating for the brain. It's going to make it harder to fall asleep, because it lowers melatonin levels. We'll talk about melatonin in a second. Obviously, if you talk about sleep, you have to talk about the sleep hormone, so we'll discuss melatonin in just a sec. But that's one of a number of natural things that help you with sleep. Another thing is alcohol. Where alcohol may help you fall asleep, it typically causes you to wake up and lose sleep later in the evening. And of course, drinking too much liquid before bedtime will cause you to have to get up to urinate. So those are things that could be accommodated. So let's start talking about melatonin. But just to go back to exercise, exercising too late in the evening is stimulating. It will rob you of a little bit of sleep. But exercise overall absolutely helps you sleep. I mean, I get a lot of people in here for counseling, for nutrition, and for me to go over their medication, etc. And they'll say, I don't sleep well, and I'll say, do you exercise? And they'll say no, and I'll say, well, maybe you should start. You'll feel an improvement in sleep immediately. Exercise. When you exercise, you break down tissues, and to repair them, it makes you sleepy. It helps you sleep. Not only that, but it's a stress buster. So now let's talk about melatonin. Melatonin is a hormone. Now, the strict definition of a hormone is a chemical released in the body in one place that works in another. So, strictly speaking, vitamin D is a hormone because it's released, the active form is released from the kidneys, and it works all over the body. But that doesn't mean it's a hormone like testosterone or corticosteroids. It's just not the same thing. So, melatonin is a hormone, and it tells your body when to sleep and when to wake up. So it kind of restores that balance. It's very important in older people if their melatonin levels are dropping. Now, there was a review of human clinical trials by very trusted researchers. It's MIT, Massachusetts Institute of Technology. They performed a meta-analysis. In a meta-analysis, you're getting a bunch of studies from different researchers from different research institutions that are all looking at the same thing. And when you put these studies together, it gives you a lot more data, a lot more subjects that have been tested, and a great deal more input. And of course, they have to pick studies that lack bias, that are well controlled and well designed and reported honestly. And they found through their meta-analysis from MIT that melatonin works. It reduces sleep latency, which is how quickly you fall asleep. It improves the quality of your sleep. You sleep deeper. It's more refreshing. It's more renewing and rejuvenating. And it increases the duration of sleep. So in other words, melatonin helps you fall asleep faster, get into deeper sleep, and sleep longer. I would call that a win-win-win situation. But melatonin has a lot of other benefits, making it a very important supplement because it's sold as a supplement in the United States. It's not a prescription, it's over the counter. It helps regulate your nighttime body temperature. Your body temperature is supposed to drop at night. And it regulates your nighttime blood pressure, and that's a really important finding. The most common time of day when somebody has a heart attack without exertion is when they first wake up. Your body floods itself with hormones to wake you up like cortisol. And this raises your blood pressure, your blood sugar, etc. If your body's blood pressure doesn't drop at night like it's supposed to, that's kind of like a double whammy, and your blood pressure could be exceedingly high in the morning, and this could be dangerous. It could be dangerous. That's why heart attacks are more common after taking a nap or after waking up from sleeping. So when you take melatonin, it allows the body to have that natural drop in blood pressure that you're supposed to have. Some people resist that. It's not good. It's not healthy. Also, melatonin has been shown in older people to help restore their immune system function. That's a very important finding. A number of studies show this. Your immune cells can actually express melatonin. At one time, we thought melatonin was only released at night to go to sleep. There's a gland in the middle of your brain, the pineal gland. And when it's dusk, when it's starting to get dark, it starts to release melatonin that sets you up for sleep. But it does a lot more than that. Not only can your pineal gland release melatonin, but so can the cells lining your intestines, so it's important for digestion, and so can your immune cells. And when you get older, you suffer from two things with the immune system. You have inflammaging. Your immune system makes you inflamed, and that's always dangerous. And you have immunosenescence, a drop in the ability of the immune system to fight off viruses and bacteria and cancer. When you take melatonin, it helps restore all different facets across the board for the immune system, and it helps reverse immunosenescence and inflammaging. So it's a good thing. And I frequently, during flu season or right now with the coronavirus, I will recommend to people over the age of 60, perhaps you should add a little bit of melatonin to what you're doing to get your immune system working a little bit better. Some studies show that melatonin addresses tinnitus, ringing in the ears. About 40 million Americans have that. Some studies show that melatonin is important for your hair, which is interesting. Your hair goes through different phases of growth, and the last phase is a dormant phase of hair growth. And without melatonin, your hair doesn't stay in that dormant phase, which is, according to some reports, 6 months long, according to other reports, up to 2 years long. So your hair thins. So melatonin seems to be important for maintaining a full head of hair, not its most important use, but it also builds bone. There's great research. In older women who've lost bone, melatonin 3 milligrams at bedtime is very powerful for building bone. When you take melatonin, you could start lower. You could start at a half a milligram or 1 milligram, because the amount everybody needs, it really varies from person to person. Typically, people need 3 milligrams, but that's the amount that really builds bone. So I tell people, take your melatonin about a half an hour before bedtime. If you want to build bone, do 3 milligrams. Before we go any further, because there's a number of natural solutions for sleep, let's take a quick break. You're listening to the Invite Health podcast, Natural Remedies for Sleep, and my name is Jerry Hickey, pharmacist, nutritionist. We'll be right back.
This podcast is brought to you by InviteHealth.com. For over 20 years, Invite Health has provided premium quality supplements and expert advice you can trust. Now, first-time customers can enjoy an exclusive offer. Visit invitehealth.com/podcast or click the link in this episode description. That's invitehealth.com/podcast for your exclusive offer on Invite Health products. Invite Health offers the resources you need to make important decisions about your health. Chat live with degreed healthcare professionals, get product information, and find retail locations near you at invitehealth.com. You can also learn about our new genetic testing program and our exclusive Invite Fitness Wellness program. Follow Invite Health on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and be sure to subscribe to our podcast today. Now back to our episode.
Okay, welcome back. We're talking about natural remedies to help you sleep. And if you need them just once in a while, that's fine. Some people need them more frequently. Hemp. The hemp plant. Hemp supplies cannabidiol that some people call CBD. This compound in the hemp plant affects CB1 receptor sites in your brain that help with mental health, fear, anxiety. It calms you down. And in time, it's been shown to improve your quality of sleep. Now, research indicates using 25 milligrams to 175 milligrams of hemp supplying CBD every day helps. It helps with sleep. Take it with a snack before bedtime. You'll absorb CBD much better if you have a little bit of fat-soluble food along with it. It's just much better absorbed. It's a good mix with melatonin. I'll tell you why. The hemp breaks down stress and fear and anxiety. It's calming, it's soothing. Where the melatonin directly sets you up for sleep. So if you're having trouble because you're low on melatonin, you can't sleep, and you're also having compounded trouble on top of that you're stressed out, well, hemp with melatonin works quite well for my clients. 5-HTP, that stands for 5-hydroxytryptophan. It's an amino acid. It comes from the seeds of the Graphonia simplicifolia plant. In the daytime, if you take a little bit of 5-HTP, it's converted to serotonin. Serotonin is a messenger in your brain. It's called a neurotransmitter. It's the happiness molecule. So 5-HTP in the daytime can raise your serotonin level, which makes you feel good. It makes you feel happy. It makes you feel free of symptoms of stress and anxiety. It clicks your mood up many levels. It's good for depression, in other words. But serotonin also makes you feel full when eating, making 5-HTP useful for weight loss. So if you're dieting and you're not eating enough calories, what you're accustomed to, if you take the 5-HTP with the food, you absorb it better into your brain. There's a reason for that. And it goes to the brain, it creates serotonin, and that makes you satisfied and not hungry with the amount of food you've eaten. What happens when you eat a meal, you release insulin to regulate your blood sugar so your sugar doesn't go crazy. But insulin also pushes 5-HTP into the brain. The body wants this to control your appetite. So taking 5-HTP a little bit, maybe 25 milligrams with a meal, is a sure way to help control your appetite. At night, 5-HTP takes an extra step and it's converted into melatonin. And it seems to create the amount of melatonin that you specifically need. I recommend starting low, 50 milligrams. You take 50 milligrams of 5-HTP with a snack about 30 minutes before bedtime. It gets into your brain very quickly and very completely. And you can work your way up to 100 milligrams. Some people need 200 milligrams. It depends on your needs. And it really works. Surprisingly, tart cherry juice is a great sleep aid. I mean, I have 4 studies that show this. It's the Montmorency tart cherry. We used the skin because that was studied at Texas A&M. In Texas A&M, they used the tart cherry skin from the Montmorency cherry for their athletes. I'll tell you why. The tart cherry improves the expression of a gas in your blood vessels called nitric oxide. This pumps open your blood vessels. So if you do that before playing football or tennis or lacrosse or anything, running track, lifting weights, whatever it might be, you get more blood flowing to your muscles. It helps rinse out acid so you don't get a buildup of lactic acid. Lactic acid will make you hit a wall. You hear that from runners, I hit a wall. So normally a runner can run 3 miles no problem, but a buildup of lactic acid in their muscles causes their muscles to stiffen and seize, and they only got 1 mile done, even though they had a lot of energy left over. So the tart cherry, first of all, rinses acids out of your muscle when you're doing physical performance. But because it stimulates nitric oxide is akin to filling a flat tire with oxygen. Nitric oxide pumps open your blood vessels. It makes it easier for the heart to pump blood to your muscles when you're exercising. You get a better workout, and you recover faster, and you're less likely to have a muscle injury or muscle pain. But not only that, it helps prevent a big jump in your blood pressure when you're exercising. Montmorency tart cherry is very, very interesting. And there's been studies from all over Europe, especially England, the United States, especially Texas A&M, using tart cherry successfully in athletes or for blood pressure or for circulation. Now, what about for sleep? When they tested the Montmorency tart cherry on people with insomnia, they actually got an additional hour and a half of sleep every night. And this happened within just 2 weeks. You had to have the tart cherry twice a day. And it's extremely safe. Tart cherry lowers a bad thing in your blood called uric acid. Uric acid can create crystals that hurt your joints, that could create kidney stones, that can damage your heart. Imagine having uric acid crystals in your heart. It could be very dangerous. Uric acid, if it goes up, and it could be within the normal range, but high normal, like over 6. Uric acid, when it goes up in your blood, if you have other risk factors for heart disease like diabetes, obesity, high blood pressure, high cholesterol, it becomes exceedingly dangerous. So tart cherry has a lot of benefits, but here we're talking about sleep. 2 weeks of tart cherry twice a day. Even in people with insomnia, they start to sleep better. Imagine someone who only sleeps 3 hours a night habitually, and all of a sudden they're getting 4.5 or 5 hours a night. That's a big improvement. Now, the next supplement I call a moment of Zen. It comes from the tea plant. And it's customary for Buddhist monks to have a cup of green tea when they're doing their long bouts of meditation. It calms them down. It gets rid of all the noise in their brain. It helps them focus. And what is most important for that is an ingredient in green tea called L-theanine. There's not a lot in there, so we actually concentrate the L-theanine into 100 milligram capsules. L-theanine comes from the tea plant. You get 4 different teas from the tea plant. You get white tea very early on in the season, very early on in the spring when the snow's still melting. Then when the leaves unfurl, it becomes green tea. And if you don't steam it, eventually it'll become oolong tea. And finally, if you let it ferment all the way without steaming, it becomes black tea. Steaming stops the fermentation process. So to have green tea, you need to pick the leaves and steam them. And in tea, there's an amino acid called L-theanine, but it's a little bit of a maverick because most amino acids build proteins and hormones and enzymes. But theanine does not do that. Theanine has really good effects in your brain. And it's not habit forming, and it works immediately. Like you don't have to take it for 2 or 3 weeks for it to work. Theanine calms you down. It's kind of like a moment of Zen. It's like a moment of meditation. But yet it improves your ability to pay attention, your attention span, your focus. It even seems to improve your creativity. It's just a total stress buster. And in the daytime, let's say you have a very kind of stressful job, like you're working as some kind of assistant in a TV studio, or you're a stockbroker, or you drive a cab in Manhattan, something like that. Very stressful occupations. If you take a theanine 100 milligrams, it calms you down. You'll enjoy life more. But at night, if you take a little bit extra, it sets you up for sleep. And this is something I use frequently. What happens with me, I fall asleep easily. I can sleep 7 or 8 hours in a row. My wife's a light sleeper, so once in a while she wakes me up, or my 2 dogs wake me up. If something scares them, like a thunder and lightning storm, they might bark. When that happens, my brain immediately gets activated. And I start thinking about my next day's radio programs, or taping my podcast, or designing a product, or whatever's on my desk, whatever's on my docket. So if I wake up at 3 in the morning, I have trouble getting back to sleep because my mind gets going right away. So what happens, I'll give myself a couple of minutes, see if I'm going to fall back asleep. If not, I go into my bathroom, in my medicine cabinet. I've got a bottle of L-theanine from Invite Health. I'll take 2 capsules and go back to bed, and it's unbelievable. 5 minutes later, 10 minutes later, sound sleep. And in the morning, which is like 2 or 3 hours later, I wake up totally aware. There's no after effects. Like you don't have any cobwebs in your brain. You don't have that residual sleepiness you might get from other things. Theanine's great. It works by calming the brain down. It's something that I really feel is very effective. Now, I've personally design products where I mix California poppy, passion flower, and valerian. But before we discuss these, let's go to another quick break. We'll be right back. Jerry Hickey, Invite Health Podcast. We're talking about natural remedies for sleep.
This podcast is brought to you by InviteHealth.com. For over 20 years, Invite Health has provided premium quality supplements and expert advice you can trust. Now, first-time customers can enjoy an exclusive offer. Visit invitehealth.com/podcast or click the link in this episode description. That's invitehealth.com/podcast for your exclusive offer on Invite Health products. Invite Health offers the resources you need to make important decisions about your health. Chat live with degreed healthcare professionals, get product information, and find retail locations near you at invitehealth.com. You can also learn about our new genetic testing program and our exclusive Invite Fitness Wellness program. Follow Invite Health on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and be sure to subscribe to our podcast today. Now back to our episode.
Okay, welcome back. Pharmacist, nutritionist Jerry Hickey. We're talking about natural remedies for sleep. And by the way, thank you for listening to these podcasts. So previously, I had designed a formula where I mixed valerian, California poppy, and passion flower. It was incredibly successful. I mean, it was unbelievable. You took one capsule if you were like all stressed out, you couldn't sleep, and your brain was overexcited, regardless of the cause. You took a capsule of this, you went to bed, and you slept, and you had a full night's sleep. It was unbelievable. In fact, I'm going to remake the product. I'm going to call it Sleep HX. I'm going to make it again. Valerian is a perennial plant that comes back every year, and it's been used as a sleep aid for hundreds of years. When I first started out in pharmacy in the 1970s, we used to have Eli Lilly products, and they used to make natural products, and they used to make valerian in this really thick syrup. And around that same time, the first benzodiazepine drug came out, Valium, diazepam, which has problems, overdoses and addiction, etc., chemical dependence. They actually named Valium that particular name to make it sound like valerian, so people could make a connection. Oh, valerian for sleep, we know about that. Oh, Valium for sleep. Now, valerian works very well if you take sufficient amounts, and if it's standardized for the active constituents, valerianic acids. And one of the things it does, it raises GABA levels. GABA is a very interesting neurotransmitter. In the gut, you know when you get that nervous butterfly feeling in your gut, that anxious feeling? GABA puts that to rest immediately. But in the brain, GABA has a bunch of effects. GABA calms the brain down. It's the major neuroinhibitory neurotransmitter. There's about 100 neurotransmitters that we know of. Some of them make you think. Some of them make you concentrate. Some of them help with depression. They do all kinds of things. Some of them teach you things like what's good for you and what's bad for you. GABA does a couple of things. The major stimulatory neurotransmitter is glutamate, to wake up the brain. The major neuroinhibitory to relax the brain is GABA, gamma-aminobutyric acid. But it also relaxes your brain cells when you're learning something, so you can actually insert the memory inside the brain cells. So you need it for learning and remembering as well as relaxing the brain. Valerian works by stimulating the production of GABA in the brain. It really boosts your relaxation. Take about 300 milligrams up to 2 hours before bed. To be honest with you, if you mix it with the California poppy and passion flower, take it right before bed. Take it right before bed. You're not going to want to do valerian tea, because valerian has a real odor, and you don't want that odor. It's very pungent. Now, California poppy, that's the state flower of California. It has this beautiful kind of strange orange color to it. Beautiful plant. It's been used in traditional medicine in this country as a sedative for centuries by Native Americans. Now, scientists have found it also raises GABA, but it's doing a lot more than that. Naturopathic doctors love California poppy because it's also good for nerve pain. So in patients who can't sleep at night because they have nerve pain, they give them California poppy. It's good for neuropathy, nerve damage, nerve pain. And the last one I like to mix together is passion flower. Passion flower is a type of climbing vine. It has a beautiful complex flower. My stepson lives in California, and he had this tiny garden. You don't have big gardens in San Francisco where he lives. And he had passion flower growing there. It was the most beautiful plant. And Native Americans, by the way, have used passion flower for its calming properties for hundreds and hundreds of years. They have a lot of herbs they use. In any event, Clinical Pharmacy and Therapeutics is a pharmacy journal. And when they studied passion flower, it worked. It worked as well as prescription drugs. Like they compared it to oxazepam. Oxazepam is a relative of Valium. It worked as well as oxazepam for calming people down for like symptoms of anxiety. Anxiety is different than stress. Stress is I'm stressed out. Anxiety is sort of fear of a future event, like leaving your house or showing your mother your report card. That's anxiety. But some people have anxiety all the time. Passion flower is a real remedy for anxiety because it can do it without making you walk around like you're a zombie, yet at night it calms you down so much you could sleep. So using passion flower reduced anxiety in patients also if they were going to the dentist and also before surgery. So if you were going for a tooth extraction or you were going for surgery, you can use passion flower and perhaps a little L-theanine to calm you down. I mean, people tell me, hey, I'm going on a plane. I get so nervous. I say, well, have a little passion flower, have a little L-theanine. It'll really help you. There's a mineral that helps you sleep, magnesium. Now, magnesium performs hundreds of duties in the human body, and it's unbelievably important. It helps you have energy in the daytime, but it also helps you sleep at night. All the energy that you make, ATP, most of the energy your body uses is ATP, like 95, 98% of it. ATP is attached to magnesium. So for you to have energy to think, to feel, to smell, to taste, to cook, to go to the bathroom, to detoxify, to digest your food, to lift weights or go dance, magnesium stabilizes ATP, and that's the source of energy. Most of your ATP in your body, most of your energy comes from ATP, and 90% of ATP is attached to the mineral magnesium. So in the daytime, magnesium is needed for energy. But at night, magnesium allows the pineal gland in the brain to release melatonin so that you could go to sleep. So you need magnesium in the daytime for energy, and you need magnesium at night for sleep. It's an amazing mineral. You also need magnesium to activate vitamin D. So let me give you a little tutorial on that, a little dogleg sidestep here. When the doctor looks at vitamin D and they say your blood level of vitamin D is fine, they're not looking at the active form because the active form only lasts about an hour. It's released from your kidneys, the active form. They're looking at the form that's stored in your liver, which exists in your blood cells. So the form of vitamin D that's in your blood that the doctor checks is released from your liver. It goes into your blood. It lasts about 2 weeks. It's not activated yet. It then has to go to the kidneys to be activated, and that helps your immune system function, and that reduces inflammation in your lungs, etc. That keeps your bones kind of solid. That requires magnesium to be activated. So your kidneys cannot activate vitamin D unless you have sufficient magnesium. Magnesium also is used by the heart to have a proper heart rhythm. Magnesium is used by blood vessels to open up, so it's good for your blood pressure. Magnesium is used by the pancreas to release hormones to balance your blood sugar, so it's needed for blood sugar control. It's just an amazing supplement. The problem with magnesium is only about 20 to 30% of Americans get sufficient magnesium from their diet. So it's important for most people to take a magnesium supplement. So just a quick review. It helps balance your blood sugar. It helps balance your blood pressure. It helps the rhythm of the heart function properly. Your muscles need it for energy when you exercise. Your brain requires it. The neurotransmitters your brain releases for normal functions of the brain require magnesium to function. They also usually require vitamin B6. Magnesium activates vitamin D. Magnesium helps you use energy that you've created out of oxygen and calories. But as far as sleep, you need magnesium to release melatonin at night to set you up for sleep. One other thing, magnesium is kind of a muscle relaxer. So if you have muscle cramps, it can help with that. So for people who have backaches, etc., magnesium can help relieve some of that stiffness and some of that muscle pain. Now, there's one other natural remedy for sleep, but you don't swallow it. You sniff it. It's called lavender. That purple flower, it's the essential oil. If you put that on a cloth and you put that inside your pillow, that'll help you sleep. I mean, human clinical trials show me this. Its scent slows your heart rate because it calms you down, and it lowers your blood pressure at night and your skin temperature. These are all supposed to happen at night. And this sets you up for slumber. It sets you up for sleep. For instance, a study found that people who snoozed in a lavender-infused room had more restful sleep. It was deeper sleep than those who didn't. I mean, it's worth trying. Just run an essential oil diffuser in your bedroom or add a couple of drops to a piece of cloth and put it inside your pillow. Now, thank you for tuning into the Invite Health podcast. You can find all of our episodes for free wherever you listen to your podcasts or by visiting invitehealth.com/podcast. Please make sure you subscribe. Please leave us a review. You can also follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Invite Health. We'll see you next time on another episode of the Invite Health podcast, and thank you so much for listening.